Mm-hmm.
Look what I've got. It's the actual one. I can't believe I found this thing for $5 at a local antique shop. I think that's
Yeah,
the
that's
best one I've
wild.
found.
It's very
And he
impressive.
does win. He does spin. I think there's supposed to be a ball here, and
Oh, that makes sense. There's supposed to be a ball here. Incorrect. There's supposed to be a sausage there.
yes, well, there's a cheese here for now.
Okay, that's close enough, I guess.
It really goes.
Man.
I can't put it down now until it stops, or it's gonna go away. I
Oh,
love
that's
it.
fun.
I
That is
know.
fun.
He's so cool. So we've got now an elephant. Anyway, Series 19. Let's get rid of Reddit because it's eating up all of my bandwidth, or whatever
Is
Reddit
this
does.
is this our first debrief in my new place or no?
Um,
Second one, I
I think
think.
it's the second one, yeah.
We now have a couch.
It's a lovely looking couch.
We still have zero art on the walls because that's my job and I have been exhausted.
I mean, fucking mood, man.
Yeah. Uh, before we start, I don't know if you, oh my gosh, I don't know if you watched Ed's podcast with Matt.
I did as soon as I woke up.
Um, did something bug you about that video?
I don't know. Like, something did seem a bit odd. I couldn't tell if
I'll
that was just
tell
because
you
I
what it
was
was.
tired. What was it?
I'll tell you what it was. It was there's an there's a discrepancy between when the camera shows them talking regularly, the door is closed. When it is a top-down perspective, the door is open.
Oops.
And it's one of those things where once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it, and I was like, what is happening? Like, what fresh hell of editing are they doing here? Where, because I can't tell whether they had the door open or closed for the actual interview, but from the top-down perspective, the door is open. So I'm like, what's happening? Is the door actually open? Is it closed? Schrodinger's caravan? What's
maybe,
happening?
maybe they did what we did a couple weeks ago and completely fucked up their recording and had to do it again.
But like, but you can see their lips moving to the same.
Yeah, I did. I was so tired. I literally, my husband woke me up. He said it's 2 o'clock. Get out of bed. So I stumbled out into the front room and watched that, and then now we're here.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Well,
let's talk about the
episode 10, the clever
episode
side.
10. And I just looked up what the lineup for Champion of Champions is going to look like, and holy white men,
I know.
Batman.
I know.
Because we've got Sam Campbell, we've got John Robbins, Andy Zaltzman, Matt Baton. And like, don't get me wrong, I love all of them. But
But this is a lot.
it's a
We'll
lot
get
of
on to
white
the
guys.
We'll get on to the series 20 task because I have something.
Cast. Cast.
Casts. Yes, sorry. I just woke up like a couple hours ago. But yeah, I
Real.
have subtitled my notes for this week. Where did the time go? Because
Yeah.
how in the hell has it already been 10 weeks?
I can't believe it's over. What a what a journey we've been on.
I know. Oh my goodness. Also, um, apologies to any viewers right now. I don't know how things are where you are. The rednecks where I am have been going for 3 days. So, apologies for any explosions that come through. Also, my
I
tummy's not feeling
legitimately,
very well this morning, so
oh,
we'll see how long it goes
yeah.
before I have to run away.
I forgot that it was the 4th of July this morning, so I was driving into work and I'm like, there's no cars on the highway. What's happening? And I was like, oh, right. It's a national holiday.
That doesn't feel like it. I have to admit.
Man, never have I been less proud to be an American, and that's saying a lot because
Yeah.
I've never been proud to be an American. I mean, my name and gender change has been sitting in the court system since October.
Fucking hell.
Like, it's just not gonna happen at this point.
Like earlier, one of my neighbors was blasting Seegers on the road again, which like
Mm.
great tune, solid tune. I don't want to hear your music today. I'm not in the mood.
No, no.
So we have a nice little
Anyway,
distraction.
yeah, let's talk about the final episode of series 19.
And right off the
Um,
bat, I've got a bone to pick with it.
well,
Um, it's it's so small and so minor, but it's the things that stick out to me. Because the very first thing Greg says about Alex, and honestly,
the
he was,
wetting the bed thing.
yeah, honestly, he was fighting for his life the entire intro this week.
That was so, I love when he does
Yeah,
that. I love when he just has to pause and is like,
we've done this 8 times. I'm not allowed to restart again.
yeah.
But
Yeah, tears every night when he wets the bed.
and that's the thing that bothers me because later Alex says he doesn't know how to cry,
Right.
which
Well, maybe
it,
Greg was talking about a different type of
oh
tears.
god. But I love that because it shows they really don't coordinate at all what they're going to say to or about one another.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you love to
Alex
see
wets
it.
the bed, which I feel like we already knew that.
Yeah, seems seems about right. And can we talk about Matt's outfit?
Oh
Okay,
my
for
god,
one
his
thing,
tiny little shorts.
before we talk about his outfit, which I was obsessed with, I miss the days when the cast would coordinate matching outfits for the finale.
The
I miss
days.
those
It's happened
days.
like 2 or 3 times.
So for this one, it's yeah, but like once you do it, it's just so good and you can't unsee it.
See,
So we've got
I
Jason
see
in
it the
his
other way.
regular
I like that it's a little treat that every now and then a cast
yeah.
decides to do that. But let's be real. Jason wasn't going to change his clothes. He
I mean,
owns
that's
one entire outfit and
true.
he just wears it every day.
Yeah, he is a cartoon character, says the cartoon character. Um, I mean, we've got Fatiha looking exquisitely gorgeous as always.
Yes.
We've got Jason in his regular outfit. We've got Matt wearing whatever the fuck that was. I mean, I was obsessed with it. I loved it.
Stevie's prize task was
Little
so good
shorts.
because it
Oh
just
my
looked she was
gosh.
sitting
I
there in
did
a
not see
jumper.
that.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. Well, and it was funny because I forget where we heard this from, but Jason was really, really sick for the
Yeah.
last two episode, like the
Oh, you could
last two
hear it,
studio.
especially when he was presenting his prize task.
Yeah, and so he had like what, a stomach bug or something?
Food
And
poisoning is, I think, what I heard.
yeah. Yeah, and you can see it when you rewatch the live team tasks that Stevie specifically like does not celebrate because she wants
Yeah,
to make sure that Jason is okay. And
yeah.
I actually did see that when I watched the last episode back, episode 9 back, cause like of course Jason's like, "Yeah," and Stevie's like, "High five."
And then he goes upstage or up on stage and just smashes shit anyway.
Yeah, that must have really sucked because
But yeah,
I think
like,
any kind of like nausea type
oh,
pain,
I
in my
know.
opinion, is like the worst type of pain to be in.
Like,
But
I've got IBS, and that ruins your day. And you don't
yeah,
even particularly feel nasty. You're just not at your
you're
peak,
like,
really.
I
Like
don't
it's
want to
yeah,
be
your
doing
stomach
anything.
hurts and you're tied to a single room. I
Yeah.
can't imagine doing anything like that with food poisoning. I also don't think
Yeah.
I've ever had food poisoning in my life.
Oh, I definitely have. It's not fun.
I've got one of
Um,
those college student iron stomachs, I think. Perk of growing up
Ro
poor.
Rosie's outfit I liked, very sparkly. And then when she had to go up on stage for the live task, she took her heels off and she was like squirming around in her short little dress or her little skirt, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
But yeah, I loved
Like
Stevie's
I get
because
that you want to like be oh, Stevie's was
yeah,
gorgeous
I
as
was
always.
even
Very put
looking for it, and
together.
it's like, no, you
Yeah.
genuinely can't tell. It just looks like she's wearing a big, bulky jumper, which, to metagame that, we know that the studio is always an icebox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, her prize task was really good.
And then, before we
So
even get to the
before
prize
yeah,
task,
before we get to the prize task, we gotta talk about renewing their vows, which is a
even
completely normal thing to do
even
between two
before that,
friends.
Greg says that Alex thinks that Rachel's stories are boring.
That was so
Oh
funny.
my
I
god.
can't believe he name dropped her.
He's only done it
That
a
was
few times and it's always
hilarious.
horrible.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I loved that. Like his wife Rachel, I was like,
I mean,
excuse me.
and when he does that, like this one especially, it raised three questions for me. One, if this isn't playing shit up for the audience, then what the fuck is it? Two, what must Rachel think of these intros where she's inserted into them? And three,
I hope she thinks they're hilarious.
and three, yeah, was Greg warned about the wedding vows Alex got off the internet?
So
Uh,
funny. I mean,
like,
he must not have been
yeah, but
because
he completely goes along with it, which I
I
love.
mean, he's like just give me the next one, give me the next one. So, the renewing of the wedding vows goes like this. I, Alex Horn, solemnly swear to protect you till the day one of us is dead. The end. I mean, we already knew that,
Yeah.
Alex. And then we have I, Greg Davis, do solemnly swear to express my respect and admiration for you as often as I breathe each breath. From today onward, you and I will be one in heart, body, and mind. You are my sunrise and sunset, and my day starts and ends with you. I'm the luckiest person alive to be standing with you today and to be facing life with you every day. Let us build a home, a life, and a family from these bonds, and promise to stick together through all life's challenges. And then, for some reason, a Backstreet Boys lyric, "You are my fire, my one desire," and that's fucking the end of the vows.
So
So,
I have some notes on this. I forget who. I apologize. Someone found these vows on the internet. So this clown just went onto the internet and found some vows.
yeah,
And
it was our anonymous writer friend
okay, yeah.
pointed that out,
And
and
I hate to
they
do it
were
so
like,
early. I have to run away.
"Okay,
Sorry.
no, you're good. I'll just talk about I'll vamp, I guess. All right, so we got those vows. I should probably keep these up so that I can write a fic with them in it or something. I don't know. Um, we do have in a later task, we already have a fic up by, let me find it, by P. Willie, and it's called I Need You, but it's KNEE hyphen D. And it's Alex demonstrates how good he is at staying still on his knees for 10 minutes. Um, so that I think was the first. Nope. Anonymous. Oh yeah, that's right. The wedding vows thing um has been fic by one of our wonderful anonymous writers. It's called Believe When I Say. So go check that out. And I'm looking right now on AO3 for anything that is more of this episode. I think that's it for now. And also completely unrelated, but because I have this page open, go check out Illuminescence on AO3 because they just posted a zine. Is that how you pronounce it? A zine? And it is a Latin Taskmaster zine, and it's really, 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 really good, and it's super impressive. So go check that out because it's amazing. Um, it's like the entire thing is in Latin, and then it also has um, what's it called? It has translations is the word that I was looking for. So yeah, go check that out. I have also, well, 2,000 hits. That's a lot. I get okay. Anyway, I just finished my clone fic that I've been writing. 24 chapters, 12,000 words. It's called An Average Day for an Alex Clone, based on the clone theory that Alex has a bunch of clones. So that's exciting. I will be over the course of the next couple of days be posting a couple of fics that are just like based on my visceral reactions of um of like feeling that this fandom has been very well fed recently, especially during this series. So be on the lookout for those. And then I'll be posting what will be my longest fic yet over the course of 37 days. I think that's how many chapters I have. 23,000 words. So that's exciting. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, where are my notes? Yeah. So that's a thing. I, as you can tell if you're watching this on video, recently just moved into a new apartment and we have done everything. We've unpacked everything except for all of the art that we need to put up on the walls. And we have a lot. And I have slowly been making progress on getting the art ready to put up on the walls. So yesterday I spent my entire afternoon and evening before bed making a cork board with all of my pins that I have, because I have a lot of pins, and then putting some art on that. And that took a long time. And then I used to wear a lot of friendship bracelets on my wrist. It's like a thing that started in 2009 when I was at camp, and it just got to the point where I just like had at least one friendship bracelet on my wrist at all times, like ever since 2009, like to this day. I've only ever taken them off 2 times, I think, or 3 times, like for surgeries. So, uh, I have kept a lot of my old friendship bracelets that had since fallen off or that I don't wear anymore. And so I was like, I want to display these somehow. So I finally got like a needle and thread and just like sewed into the tops of all the bracelets. So now I have like a really weird looking bracelet thing. I don't even know what to call it. A string, I guess. So that took me all night. And I think today I'll probably try to do my Taskmaster one because I got a giant frame that I just want to put all of my Taskmaster art and postcards into. So that will be exciting. But anyway, let's get back to
Yes.
our regularly scheduled program.
Yes, sorry about that.
In which...
It's ridiculously hot in my office, and that's a weird trigger.
Yeah. No, that's real.
Yeah, so Alex
now
had four parts of his joke, as if he's never heard of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, that in and of itself was the joke.
Yep.
And then,
Greg knew he was going to have another part.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The rule of 4. Alex was like giggling. He's like, rules of 4? I'm like, shut the fuck up.
And then I totally missed the double take until Amanda pointed it out to me.
I was ready for it because in that leaked outtakes video,
yeah, I saw
they were
it.
like doing that. So when they said like double take, I was ready for it. I was honed in and I saw it and I was like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, I totally missed it.
And I paused it and I went back when I rewatched it with my partner. And he was like, what is this dynamic? So
I
weird.
mean, that so there's a photo that's been going around recently where Alex and Greg are just in their street clothes, sitting in the thrones. And my just immediate reaction to that is, who are these nerds? And they better move before the Taskmaster finds them, because he's going to be pissed. And then they do that.
Yep.
That was even worse. Like, my mind is rejecting that more than it was rejecting that behind-the-scenes photo.
Yep.
But I think I was still reeling from whatever the hell the wedding vows were, and then they just throw that at you, and it may be a second on screen.
Yeah.
And then...
Okay, I just found out that there is already a fic with the wedding vows in it, so go read that. It's by one of our anonymous writers. I already name-dropped the fic earlier, so go check that out. But yeah, the body swap double take, I was so excited for that, and I can't wait to watch the outtakes when they post them for real.
Oh, I know, right?
Because they were both like really uncomfortable. Well, I think Greg was more uncomfortable with it.
Well, I love...
He's like, I don't like...
My favorite
But I also
thing about
like
that
how
outtake... go ahead.
Like, Greg brought his cards and his pen, and Alex brought his iPad, so they're still clinging to the stuff that they always hold on to.
They're
which
little
was
comfort
funny.
blanket props.
I was like, I wonder if like Greg is gonna hold the iPad, because can you imagine if Greg had held the iPad and Alex was holding the gold pen and the cards? Oh, I would have loved that.
His iPad to me looks like an Air, or whatever the current replacement for the Air is. Which they're not big iPads. But what I loved about that, and we had some heads up from, I think, the New York thing, was that Greg was made aware, all of a sudden, that Alex has padding on his throne, as if he's never looked at it. In the 10, 11, I think it's been 11 series now that they've had these thrones, because they popped up in, like, series 9, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he just never even looked at Alex in that direction long enough to even click that, wait, he's got padding on his arms. What the hell?
Yeah.
And I would love if they actually follow through with getting rid of it. Because Greg demanded it.
It's so sad.
I love it. Anyway, on to the tasks. Prize task. Well.
Yeah, prize tasks.
The thing most likely to make you do a double take. That's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And Matt comes up with boots in a bin.
Well, Matt and Ed talked about this in their podcast, or like pretty extensively. So I don't feel like we need to delve super deep in here. But I mean, boots in the bin was funny.
It looked like a body. I didn't really have anything else to say. Like, it wasn't a strong entry.
Fatty has one. I was like, I don't understand what is supposed to be making you do the double take.
So, I do understand.
That didn't make any sense to me.
Her analogy was unhinged. But I actually know exactly what she meant. Because, like, it's a whole genre of cat meme. It's called, like, airplane ears, where you do something unexpected, and your cat just looks at you like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
Like, I think,
cats. Where's the podcast cat?
who knows?
Is
Jumping
she
off the
with you?
balcony.
Huh? Oh, she's sleeping. She's got important things to be doing right now
But
instead of
also,
guesting on the pod.
why did her mannequin look like Guz Khan?
So I was thinking that too. I was like, "What? Is that you?"
Like
Yeah, it
that's
was weird.
literally how my brain just basically sees Guz Khan. He has a beard.
I love him.
But
I
yeah,
love him
like
so much.
so she was saying the thing that makes her do a double take is a good-looking man in a beard, because she has to look twice to, is he a Muslim man? If he is, yeah,
Oh, I see.
because like
Okay.
she likes a man with a beard, she would prefer him to be Muslim. And
Right.
then
Makes
she
sense.
said that they couldn't find a dude she liked, and then
So
just
funny. Jason's
insulted
like,
every single man up on the stage right there, all four of them.
yeah, so funny. Um,
Like Greg especially. Oh, like
like after all these, like after 10 episodes of you like begging to be my wife, like now you're like, oh, I don't like putting up beards. It's like, excuse me.
another
Oh my
thing
gosh.
that I think might kind of been working in his against him is that as he's gone more into the white side of the gray spectrum, his beard has actually vanished again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how long he lets it grow, but I just shaved yesterday, and I've got more of a beard than Greg Davis looks like he has.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And in the middle of this, I had to restart my TV because my media server
Mm.
was being a dickhead.
Oh no.
I had to restart my TV like 3 times last night. It was weird. It just was refusing to talk to Jellyfin.
That's annoying.
But yeah, and then Jason just calls her ass out over this being her best
Yeah,
prize.
yeah,
Which
that was funny.
I can see where she's coming from her point of view. I
Yeah.
don't think she understood that these are meant to be presents for Greg.
Princess. Don't let Alex catch you saying that.
Well, the
He'll be
thing is,
pissed.
Julie and Clary very clearly played to that angle. He, like,
Yeah,
every single thing that he brought in, it seemed like he thought that it was meant to be a present for Greg. And
right.
his prize tasks, with one or two exceptions, were flawless.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair,
They're
I
meant to be
think
presents for
the
Greg.
well, like even if they're not, even if they're specifically like, the best thing that whatever. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't it because some of them are like the best thing that Greg thinks is blah blah blah. But
Creamy Gouda.
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 Um the the thing is though that like whatever it is has to appeal to Greg, even if the task doesn't specify that it's
Yeah.
for Greg or the thing that Greg thinks is blank.
Yeah, which
Because
is why the
Greg is the one
presents.
ultimately judging it. So you have to either, yeah, make it something that Greg would want or something that Greg is going to find
Yeah.
funny or entertaining.
Which. I feel like Alex's beard is like his only exception. Mainly because I feel like he shares the sentiment that a lot of people in the fandom do. They just kind of want to grind it into the carpet.
Yep. Not to victim blame, but maybe if he didn't have such a grindable face,
I
we
know. Well, I
um
don't know what the equivalent is. It's something in the ballpark of cute aggression, where so many people just want to like kick him down the
yeah.
stairs.
Yeah.
And then
Um
we have Jason. Most meals with Dad, 1992 to 1993.
that was
He
so weird.
he bought it at a yard sale 30 years ago.
I mean, it
And
is
that's
pretty
so
funny.
relatable. I have so much shit like that in my house
Yeah.
that it's just like I saw it, it made me laugh. It doesn't make anyone else laugh. I don't care.
Yeah. If it brings you joy, keep it.
And then he wants to earn it.
That was so
Yeah.
cute. Like that was also kind of one of those moments where you see that he was like struggling a little bit,
Yeah.
like
God, you could hear it in his
physically.
voice.
Yeah, I
He
felt so
wasn't
bad for
happy.
him. No.
And then we get Stevie, who forgot hers. Flawless execution.
So funny. I had to rewatch it. I had to watch
It
it
was so good.
twice.
I just have
Which
no
is the
notes.
ultimate double take, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the first time you watch it, you're like, okay, she's being kind of reserved with her laughter at, like Fatiha's prize task and everything. It was like, okay, well, maybe she's just toning it down for Jason's sake again. And
Yeah.
then you realize that's not why she's doing it.
Perfect
So the
execution.
the second time you watch it and you really hone in on it, you're like, yeah, it's a different color. But like if you're not expecting it, it's totally unnoticeable. So it was really impressive.
And then we just go on to Rosie with her life-size period. And my only note is,
Which
what the fuck?
apparently that was from a show a live show that she did with her husband for their podcast or something. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I don't,
that does not give me any context.
because, yeah, I
Like the
don't watch
only
and or
thing
listen
I
to their
could
podcast, so I have
Yeah,
no
I don't
idea.
either. Like the only thing I could think of was I think there's a play. I don't think it's a musical, but I think there's a play that's called like the Vagina
Oh, yeah.
Monologues or something.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's big deal. And it's exactly what it sounds like.
yeah,
It's a very feminist play, basically, and I recommend you see it.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
fantastic.
I haven't seen it, but that's the only thing that came to my mind was like, was it from that? But I guess not. I don't know. It was weird. It
Like,
definitely wasn't something that would make somebody do a double take
yeah,
because that's something that's like you need something that's subtle to do a double take,
yeah,
right?
it's
Like
not a double
if you
take if you
were
can't look away.
right. And if you were because I was thinking like if you were trying to bring in or to bring in a prize that like the Taskmaster fandom would do a double take at. Like obviously Greg and Alex switching thrones, that was
Yeah.
perfect. But what I thought of was when we were all in New York City and we were trying to look for Greg and Alex, we were all specifically looking for Alex's coat, his winter coat, because it was like blue with like a red, orange, and yellow stripe. So it was
Yeah,
pretty obvious,
he's got a new
in the
one since the
sea.
old Adidas
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So like we were all looking for that, and we did find somebody wearing it, and we were like, but it wasn't him. And I have since seen that same one like in an airport and stuff, and I always am like doing a double take at it, being like, Alex, no, it's not Alex. It's really funny. So for the
I'm
Taskmaster fandom, that's what I would have brought in is
I'm
Alex's coat.
I'm wearing a shirt that I bought online before ever clocking that he had this one as well. I think he's worn it on like you can see the rocket and thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think he's worn it on like Sunday brunch or something.
Oh, actually, you know what I would have brought in?
Hmm.
This like inside joke with our group chat is those t-shirt, they're like big baggy
Oh,
white t-shirts and it
yeah.
says like Greg Davis and it has like a bunch of different cutouts of Greg. And so we were like, because that exists.
Yeah.
That's a real thing that exists. And I guess there's one for Alex, but there's like this inside joke where we want to make one that says Alex Horn, but all of the pictures are of Andy Cartwright.
Yes. I love how much they're playing into that as well lately,
Yeah.
which we'll get to later. But
Yes.
it's fantastic. I
I
feel like
mean,
it started with
I
Champion of Champions 3.
yeah. Like I don't wear shirts like that, but I want to own one of those shirts so bad because it's so funny to
Yeah,
me.
I think I don't really wear t-shirts outside of home, but I think that is one that I would actually wear because it's hilarious.
Mhm.
And like this is the first time, probably because I knew something was going to be up, that I clocked that it was Andy. Cuz usually
Yeah.
I don't get the joke until after the fact.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
no.
we have Alex going 1 point to Fatiha
Which I love
again.
that Greg even
And
said
I
it
was
would
like,
ruin their potential marriage.
yes. He's so sassy. Alex so sassy this
He
series.
is. I love it. I
On
love
point
that we're seeing
again.
more of his actual personality and not whatever the fuck little Alex Horn is. Like,
Yep.
I love little Alex Horn, don't get me wrong. But I love how he has been letting that not be the only thing he does.
Yeah.
And then we had Matt with 2 points, and everyone was cuddling Stevie's hand.
That was so cute.
And then Jason got 3, Rosie got 4, and Stevie, of course, got 5. Which, I can't say I disagree with any of that.
Yeah.
And then we'll just roll on to task number 2. Completely fill the yellow box with sand. Once you have touched a box, you must hold that box for the rest of the task. And immediately...
I don't think they really held each box.
No.
I mean, I know they tried to, like, Stevie definitely tried, but she was, like, rolling some stuff on a
Oh
chair
my god, I love that.
at some point.
But, like...
And it's like, you need to hold... again, I'm not blaming her for
Yeah.
not... because she was trying to, like, touch everything.
And this task is just classic Alex Horn bullshit. Like, it's
Yeah.
a simple task, very straightforward, that's just made needlessly irritating. It's not even complicated. It's
No.
just annoying.
Also, I loved the throwback to John Kern's
Yes.
task with the shopping cart and the top hat. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And so I was like pausing every now and again to write down my notes, and my partner was sitting there and he's like, because I started typing shopping cart and top hat, and he was like, what's the significance of that? And I was like, well, remember John Kearns? And he was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
I
But-
really liked that little nod.
But before the task
So.
even starts, Jason immediately notices the GoPro, which tells
Yeah.
him that there is some tomfuckery going on with this table. And his
Yeah, I loved
instinct
when he
is
was like,
perfect.
hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So while Jason is refusing to say the line because he knows that Alex is going to be classic dickhead Alex, Stevie is just immediately cursing herself.
She really is.
I'm
She was asking for it.
The thing about measuring her emotions and reactions while just immediately grab the box.
I mean,
Which-
it's a famous last words type of situation where, like, you're dooming yourself by saying that already.
Well, and then the funny thing is, Alex says in the studio that it didn't count until after they said the line. So she was needlessly holding onto the box anyway.
But to be fair, they didn't know that while reading the task.
Rosie acted on that, but you can tell, yeah,
She was like...
in studio, she was very relieved when Alex said that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love Jason's refusing to say the line, because I think it's a rare moment, and I don't think he's really gone down this lane since Bridget Christie, where he stopped being Alex entirely, and just all of a sudden, the producer is there being kind of bitchy, because Jason goes, have you started the clock? And Alex says no, and Jason says, great. And then Alex, you can barely hear it under the audience, I'm tempted to. And that's what gets Jason's ass finally into gear. And it's entirely because Alex became the producer for a few seconds.
And I did wonder whether he would have just started.
Well, because...
Like, at what point does Alex actually start the clock? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's even said that, like, they're getting bored with that. And they want to encourage people to do that kind of thing less, you know. The rules are you read the task and then you do the task.
Yeah. And he does get out of them a little bit when he phrases it like we have in this episode, where your time started when you acknowledged Alex.
Yeah.
So we do, but, you know, it's a classic your time starts now. Like, you can't cut that out completely.
Yeah. And then... We have Fatia just immediately getting annoyed at Alex. She hates the dome. She thinks this task is stupid. And then Alex points out that she touched the orange box, and she's like, well, yes, thanks for stating the obvious. But, like, the whole dome, the whole thing is a trap. There is nothing for you in the dome.
Yep.
And Jason spotting that GoPro, he that at least told him that things are not going to be what they seem. So he just fucks up the table. And look, he's right. Yeah, there was nothing there under, to do with the table, just traps and sadness. But then
Traps and Sadness.
yeah.
The title of this debrief.
But then they both find the ball, that sends them on the wild goose chase because Jason got too invested in working out what the trap on the table was, I think.
Yeah.
Had he just accepted, there's a trap, I need to leave,
Mm-hmm.
he would have got it, I think, immediately. And then we have Fatia.
Yeah, I feel like what you need to do is take yourself out of the moment and just leave.
Yeah.
And just go and explore and look around
Yeah.
the grounds.
And what you don't need to do is try to kick the door in and then nearly fall down the stairs.
Alex's face, I had to rewind and watch that again. Because Alex, like, you can see Alex, like, going out to catch her, and then he just, like, side-eyes the camera, and he's just like... That's so funny!
There's another bit like that that comes up later that I want to touch on. But Fatia trying to kick the door in reminded me of that New Year treat where Lady Leisure tried to ram raid the door and didn't realize that it was, like, properly closed and latched.
It reminded me of... I think was it Guz? That he was like... Because it was like, don't let Alex get the ball or whatever it was.
Yes.
And he, like,
that's
taped
one of my
to the door,
favorite Alex
and Alex
moments.
just like, I'm gonna break the door down. And he's like, okay, and he just like kicks the door in with no resistance at all. It's so funny.
So
that's what that reminded me of.
I've told this story before. So I watched it backwards. I started with series 11 while 12 was airing. So I was like watching 11, and then there'd be an episode of 12, and then I was watching 10, and then there was another episode, and it kind of went on like that. So I didn't really have the full context at that episode for why it was unusual that Guz was just pissing himself, basically, over Alex breaking in. Which, no, that's fucking weird. That is amazingly out of character. And I think Guz was right to be scared, because what the hell is he doing?
So funny.
But also, just poor Rosie in this, just having an absolute nightmare. She had the box on her head, which they both did, but only Rosie really got called out for it, because she picked the wrong box, whereas Fatia picked one that she could balance on her head. And then Rosie was just wearing it like a hat.
Yeah.
And luckily, neither of them saw the sandpaper box. Which, classic Alex Horn bullshit.
Yep.
We got Fatia shouting,
yeah, I would have been really mad about the sandpaper thing.
Oh my God.
I would have been furious.
Instead, we get Fatia furious at the little sandcastle thing. And it's like, yeah, get him. He deserves to be called out. And I don't know if you saw that video that was posted earlier. Just a supercut of Fatia swearing at Alex.
Yeah. So funny. That was such a good compilation.
I think she's gonna go down in the same camp that Judy Love did. Just no patience for whatever he's doing. We're not playing these games.
No patience for the bullshit. Yep. Absolutely.
And then yeah, back in the studio, I love it. I love the way Greg responds when a contestant explains why they suck.
Mm-hmm.
because she was talking about how she nearly fell over trying to kick in the door, and he goes, "Yeah, I saw."
She's like, I don't have any balance, and he's like, yeah, I know.
And then we had Matt, who just immediately noticed that there was a trap, just like Jason did, and then immediately falls for the trap.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was looking around, and you could see the cogs swirling, and then no, I'm gonna do this anyway. Where Jason just said, "Nope, this is a trap. I'm gonna fuck the table, and
Mm-hmm.
then get out of here."
Yep.
And that's when we find John Kern's sabotage props, which might be to me still one of the best tasks ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
it's
I'll agree with
one.
that.
If I'm showing someone to task or showing someone the show for the first time, and I don't know how likely they are to respond positively to the unhinged, kinky side of the show, it's John's sabotage task that I show them
Mm-hmm.
because it has everything. And then I've got yeah, we've got Jason talking to the GoPro,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just surprisingly, aside from the table, which he still doesn't even wreck, he mostly just made a mess this task.
Yeah, I wonder, because I forget who was saying it, but I think somebody was saying somewhere that they started putting Jason in the last slot of doing pre-recorded
Yeah,
tasks so that if he did wreck something it wouldn't affect the other contestants thing. So I wonder if that was one of the earlier tasks that they shot where he wasn't the last person to use it and they were
yeah,
like, hey, like I mean, there's nothing we can actually stop you, but like if you do wreck this, just know that a member of production will have to like rebuild this entire thing. So like not wrecking it
and
immediately.
and this task does have that kind of early filming energy because they're going a lot of places on the property,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that always confuses people toward the beginning. Like Stevie, which I still can't
Not
believe this
knowing where the
wasn't the
lab
first
is.
task was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the first task we were shown, but it wasn't the first one she filmed, and that is insane to me. And then
I mean, also as somebody that like has watched Taskmaster so much, it's it always baffles me to think that like people don't know where every single room of
yeah,
the house is.
which I love that Jason absolutely does. Like you can tell he loves this show, and you can tell that Matt loves this show.
Mm-hmm.
But they're definitely loving it in different ways because Matt also like he fell for so many basic traps where Jason falls for a big one later. And he's even pissed off at himself because he sees it immediately in hindsight,
Yeah.
which we'll get onto that later. But
Mm-hmm.
for now, I figured you'd want to talk about Matt's cute little jog.
I do love Matt's cute little dog. Thank you. I love him so much. I'm obsessed with the man, okay? His
He's
stupid
adorable.
little stick legs, his getaway sticks, if you will. I mean, look at those knobbly little knees and his skinny little leggies. How can you not love this man? He's so fucking
I
weird.
know.
I love him so much.
He's great.
I don't know. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
I
And
love
then
Matthew Baden.
we get an ad break and Alex is talking about muesli. It's like,
Yeah, that was
okay.
weird. I was like, what? Sponsored by Muesli? What? What's happening?
Like, I don't mind muesli. We can actually get some really good blends here, where
I don't
I am,
even know
which is
what muesli
surprising.
is, if I'm being
It's
honest.
like a fortified porridge. Like instead of just being oats, it's got like seeds and fruit and other things. Like the one that we get, it's got
It was like quinoa?
no, no.
Because
So,
I was like, Alex would never eat quinoa.
no. So it starts off as oatmeal, and then it will have like we had a blend recently that had sunflower seeds, almonds, and something else. Cranberries and raisins. And
So
just,
cereal.
yeah, like, it's what people want to make oatmeal as, because just the basic oatmeal, it ain't great.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
Okay.
like, if you can find it, it's nice. It's just
Okay.
basically nice, bougie oatmeal.
Cool.
And then we get on to Stevie. Isolated yet again. And she's just immediately fucked. She curses
Hey,
herself right out the
at
gate.
least she did it. At least she
Yeah.
completed the task.
She, she knocks the table over, just trying to do whatever she's doing. Falls for every single trap this task. And then we get Alex helping her with the chair. And I love when he helps, because he knows that if he doesn't, this task is not getting completed. Like, that's clearly what it was.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down, I can't deal with that. I think that might have been for the sandpaper when she found it.
I was so mad. I was furious.
Well, because when I think I noticed it like earlier when she was in the shed, and I'm like, oh, what's that red box? And my husband said, oh, I think Rosie opened it, and that's where the ball was. And I was like, that doesn't seem right, because yeah, the ball was in the dome. So
Yeah, the ball was in the dome.
when Stevie finally spotted the red box, just again grab. Didn't think maybe, test it by knocking something else into it, seeing if it's
Or like
heavy.
take a stick and open the
Yeah,
box and see what's in there, yeah.
like it's in the shed. There are tools in the shed. Please use the tools in the shed. Just okay, yeah, all right. And then just an amazing tantrum at the end. We don't have tantrums very much anymore,
No. Oh, her
but
little
that was such a
tantrum was
deserved one.
she was so over it. She's
Yeah,
like, fuck this.
just throw all the toys out of the pram. Totally done. And we have Matt with 5, Jason with 4, Stevie with 3, Fatio with 2, and Rosie with 1. And as Greg says, now we know who's better.
That was amazing.
Yes.
And I felt so bad for Jason not being able to fight back because he wasn't feeling well. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Although later he does nearly
Yeah, he
chase
goes for
Alex off the
Alex.
stage.
I loved that. Oh my gosh.
Deserved.
Alex's little fight or flight response is like, run away. Oh wait, Greg is here. Let me just
Yeah.
hide behind Greg.
He started running away, and then he
Yeah.
hit against Greg.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get to that later though.
Yeah.
Because first there's a new named prop, and he's called Rufus. And
Rufus!
let me see if I still have the tab open.
He will be joining our
Yes,
podcast
he
family
will,
soon.
because I already have him. I had to go elsewhere. Here it is. Found it. So, Tesco would not let me create... Oh, shit, I lost you again. Let me see, did that fix it? There we go, I fixed it. Okay. So, Tesco would not let me create an account. So, if you're in the UK, you can get him here. And Amanda found this one. Between the two of us, I think we found about 4 of them that could have been it. So it wasn't until I was able to get the download and compare screenshots that I confirmed it's this one. If you're in the UK, he's $17. I had to get him on eBay for 40.
Yeah.
So aside from the elephant, he's still the cheapest one so far.
That's pretty impressive. He
And
looks very soft.
He does. So Rufus is going to be part of our gang. According to the Royal Mail, he's arriving tomorrow. I've got beef on site with the Royal Mail, so I don't believe them.
Right.
And then
Now,
when Matt named
let's.
him, well, first when Matt named him Rufus, that was like tickling something in the back of my head, and I'm like, Rufus the Hound. Why does that sound familiar? And then YouTube served me a video of a comic relief episode of Only Connect, and then I realized it's not Rufus the Hound, it's Rufus Hound, a comedian. So I don't know if that was, something invading the back of Matt's brain or just
Mhm.
a really cute coincidence. But
Right.
now we have Rufus the Cocker Spaniel dog, not a
He's
plushie.
so cute.
It's
He's so cute.
specifically Cocker Spaniel dog plush toy, brackets brown. And there's a puppy variation that is specifically a puppy and it's lighter colors and smaller.
Interesting. So that's not the puppy
Yeah, this is the
version.
dog, which I thought was very funny.
That's funny.
But and then we get, yeah, so let's actually read out the task.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay, so here we go. Part 1. Freeze on your spot in the most powerful pose in 5 minutes from now. You must be touching 2 of the objects. And yeah, like Jason said, this just stinks of there's a second part of the task because there's no win condition.
There's no win condition. You gotta look for the win conditions, my guys.
But we have Fatia annoyed at being made to walk across gravel.
So funny.
Alex says that the temple is inflatable. And
That
that,
was and Rosie being like, "It's not."
yeah, like she had to really think about it.
I mean, I think that this series has the most beautiful location tasks
Yes,
we have ever seen so far.
it's
And I will stick by that.
so it's at something called Painesville. I don't exactly know what that is, but it's in Surrey. So you can go there. You can probably find it fairly easily. There's coordinates and a website on the Taskmaster fandom wiki.
Sweet. I mean, gorgeous location.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
I was struck by Matt's stuff blowing all over the
Yes,
place and
and
being
then we
like,
get that little.
Matt is consistently getting like all the windy days for
Yes,
tasks.
and then
Because
we get
in the
Alex's
first
little
episode,
scuttle.
he would, oh, his little scurry, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
also, can we talk about this task? I think is one of the best edited tasks
I
in
want
the
to know
entirety of
what
Taskmaster.
what Adobe After Effects witchcraft is that. I don't want to learn it because fuck After Effects. But
Yeah.
that was such a good way of showing it.
I mean, it was brilliant. It was so cool that they put them in order 1 through 5.
Yeah, I love when they
Like
do that.
that was amazing. And then can crop them all together in the same shot. And just the whole editing of this entire task was
It
gorgeous. And
was.
I really, really want to shout out
It
the
was.
team for this specific. I mean, for the whole show, we are a huge fan of theirs, but for the trailer, I was blown away.
Yes.
Like Nick Muhammad level editing out his reflection levels of blown away. Like I
Yes.
was so impressed with the editing for this task. Just
Yeah, I love these ones where they like edit everyone together. A favorite one of mine is the one where they had to be the third person to high five
yeah, the high
Alex.
five. I was just thinking
That
that
was
too.
that
That
was
was
done
so
so well.
clever. It was
And
so clever.
unfortunately, like it's one of those tasks that I think on its own was not a strong task. It was only because the team of 3, 2 of the 3 of them absolutely failed to comprehend the task.
Yeah.
And that's what made it good. And then Arnold just he understood the task and then he made his own rules for it.
Yeah, he sure did.
So we have Fatia. Regal people have dogs all the time.
So funny.
I think I understand what she means, but that was,
Like, I kind of get
yeah.
it, yeah.
And then
But,
we have Matt, power over life or death. And
like, I kind of got where he was coming, but a
this poor
puppy.
dog does not have a very wholesome intro.
Because if you think about it, like, what do you think is more powerful? Potentially killing a puppy, or maybe like a lion, or like a hippo, or something. Like something that's not like a tiny, harmless little furball. You know what I mean? Like, I do get where he was coming, but maybe I think a more powerful image would be him attacking like something bigger or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Well, it's funny because this is not the first time people have come up with the power of life or death. Like, there's
Yeah.
two times people want a dying frog, which is odd. Like, the fact that has specifically been requested twice. Sean Harris then went for, uh, like, resurrecting a dead guinea pig with her pinky, because it was do something powerful with your pinky. So in her mind, that life or death means, create life. And
Right.
Lou Sanders also, I don't know if this was the same task, I can't remember. She wanted to get pregnant for one of them and create life. And it's like, now we
You
have
have
Matt
30
going,
minutes.
I'm
Your
gonna I'm
time
gonna
starts
murder a
now.
puppy.
Yeah, I mean, so like at my job, I have to perform humane euthanasias on animals, and I wouldn't say that it gives me a sense of pleasure. That's not the word I would use, to be honest.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
like again, I kind of get where he's coming.
like
Not
I
not
grew
really.
up in a family that did a lot of hunting and fishing, so I have killed my own food. And yeah, I agree. It doesn't feel powerful. Like, even having to bash the fish in so it doesn't suffocate and, suffer. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't feel powerful.
Yeah. It's more just kind of no, like it for me at least it's like a weird sense of pride in knowing that I am doing a job of like the service that is really hard to do.
And,
Like for people that it's going to be really hard for them to be service. So
and,
it's more just like I like being that where I know that I can deliver kind of customer
yeah.
service type of thing in a really really and I guess that is really powerful if you think about it. But it's also very dark.
Let me go. Let's see that. Okay, you were cutting out again, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, like when you are like if you're hunting, the whole idea is you want to have a clean, dignified death. You don't want it to suffer, and there is the whole thing where suffering does spoil the meat, but also why
Is
in the
that real?
yes
Is that true?
yes that is true, but
That's
also
wild.
just why would you want it to suffer in the first place?
Right.
Like, yeah, it's not powerful to kill a puppy. It's humane in certain circumstances, yes, but that's not the same thing.
No. No.
And then we have Jason just going off in his own direction. I want to stand
I
up on
mean,
these two things, and Alex is, do you now?
yeah, I mean, he was like, I mean, we're not surprised at this point that Jason wants to stand on the pillars. We're not surprised that Jason wants to hold this particular pose over Alex.
Yeah.
But it does mean that we get the delicious Alex kneeling for 10 minutes,
See,
which
had he been
is
doing this task, he he might have won it. Like, he
yeah.
moved slightly more than Rosie did, but as Greg rightly points out, she's leaning against a thing.
But
Like,
also
that's,
Alex, I think Alex was only moving because he had to keep telling Jason
yeah,
time updates. Because
yeah.
really the only thing that moved Alex's head, but again, that was just because he had to talk to Jason the timekeeping stuff. Um So anyway, go on AO3 and check out P. Willie's newest fic, which is called I Need You, but it's KNEE
That's
hyphen
hilarious.
D. It's really good.
That's hilarious.
But
And
yeah,
then
I mean, this is just another task that is um and we have talked about this before, and I always forget what it's called. Si situational bondage?
predicament bondage.
Predicament bondage, thank you. I always forget what it's called. But yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's
Oh, why are you over
it's
here?
predicament bondage.
Yeah, it literally is. And then Stevie's just ow.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I thought that honestly Matt's looked more uncomfortable than Stevie's because at least Stevie was kind of sitting down. But
yeah.
Matt, like he had his bare knee digging into the ground, holding him up. Plus the spine twist he
And then
said was
the
the worst part. Yeah, and holding I'm like, oh dude,
but
the knee I think is what would take me.
oh
I
my
think the knee
god.
would take me out.
And then yeah.
I mean, Ed, like in Ed's podcast, Ed even said, like, I can't even sit in one position for 1 minute. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I think Ed's only a couple years older than me. And I'm like, I cannot, like, I used to sit cross-legged all the time. I had to sit cross-legged constantly. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore for longer than like 5 minutes. It's awful.
Could you real quick do me a
Yeah.
favor?
Hmm.
Go into your on Discord, your voice and video settings,
Yeah.
and either change your input sensitivity or
Two more or less.
um
Because you had me turn it down before.
try turning it up because I've done everything I can on my end and you still keep dropping out.
Okay, is this better?
Well, we'll see
Or
because it tends to happen when you're peaking.
it drops me when I'm peaking? So
Yeah,
wouldn't it make more sense for me to turn it down?
maybe. Yeah,
Or
maybe.
okay,
But
let me
but
do
at the
that.
same time, like I don't want you to turn it too much down that you're not getting picked up at all.
I'm just kidding. Visual gags for the podcast.
Yeah.
sorry, sorry, anybody that's not watching this on YouTube. Oh boy.
and then
Anyway,
we have when Alex brings out the second task, like Jason already wants to batter him to begin with. Jason's
oh
fed up
yeah,
with this guy, and then
yeah.
Alex goes, "I'm just gonna read the second part of the task," and Jason, son of a bitch, this is a
Son of a bitch.
disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he
Fantastic.
says, like, I should have known that there was gonna be part two.
Yeah,
I should have fucking known better.
which I mean, we've been harping on this all series. Yes, you should have known. And then, yeah, Greg was so offended about the puppy. Just,
Yeah. I mean, it's a puppy.
yeah,
I mean,
like,
what?
just puppy murder. Why? Like, he was surprisingly offended at the needless cat murder. And he's been on record about how much he doesn't like cats. And now there's a puppy murder? What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And then we had Rosie's with her people in the 80s. And, like, I know what she was going for, but that was such a weird way to describe what she was going for.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've absolutely seen those people at the roller rinks.
I mean, I don't think I've ever gone to a roller rink.
The age gap is killing me.
More like I was just really, really antisocial and so don't know how to skate and didn't have anyone to go with. So.
I'm sorry I gotta pull you up. You were asocial unless you were engaging in criminal behavior.
Okay. Sure.
It's one of those things
Whatever
where,
you say.
well, antisocial has become one of those things where, like, people just,
say it without
Yeah.
knowing what it
Yeah,
actually
and it's a
means. Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
different thing. And
I was just exciting news. I
oh,
finished off Menu,
oh, yay.
all 300 episodes.
Jesus.
So then I was like, I'll start listening to John Robbins' podcast called How Do You Cope? So I started doing that. And he was talking, it was like the second episode or something. Somebody was like, yeah, the initials, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, those aren't acronyms. It's an initial. And they were like, it's an acronym. And he's like, no, here's the difference. And I was
Yep.
I love him.
Yep. That's another one of the ones. I don't tend to call people up on that one because whatever, common usage.
Yeah.
But the anti and the asocial, very different things, and one of them needs to be removed from the common lexicon so that it can be used properly. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
the second part of this task: stay completely still in your powerful pose for the next 10 minutes, which
It's
is
rough.
a disaster. And yeah,
It
Jason,
is
the exact
rough.
quote: "This has got all the hallmarks of there's a second task." Yes, it did. Why weren't you paying attention? And then we have Matt dying and Fatia changing the rules. Just she's not doing this task. I don't know what task she's doing. She just kept changing
Yeah.
positions, chatting with Alex. Oh, this is a cute pose, isn't it? And then my favorite one is my back hurts, Jason. All right, good.
He loved that. He was like, yeah, serves you fucking right.
But yeah, like Fatty was just bored to death while everyone else was losing their minds, especially
Mm-hmm.
Jason. Like
Yeah.
you could see him going insane. And I'm pretty sure this is actually torture. Like not to get political on the stupid Blurbo podcast, but there's an active court case about this in this country right now about
Yeah.
literally this.
Yep.
It's literally torture. So
Yep.
thanks for that,
Well,
Alex
but
Warren.
again, like they didn't have to do it.
No, like
Nobody was forcing them to do it.
as evidenced by Fatia, who just
Yeah.
decided not to.
Yep.
But
Yep.
also, so I mentioned this earlier about I can't remember what brought it up, something ages ago, but afterward, Alex's little run to help Stevie because he has learned his lesson since Sophie nearly drowned, which that is one of the best things that's ever happened. Sophie just, yeah, drowning in a stream, and Alex just standing there watching her.
It's so funny.
Yeah, like he's definitely a freeze on that fight flight response.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, and we saw this last week, he just blue screen of death. I can't handle this. Someone else, please do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to see him
Yeah.
recognize that, oh,
Yeah.
I
Help her
shouldn't
out.
just stand here idly watching while, this person screams trying to get down off this pillar.
Yep. Yeah, that looked really painful.
And then I love, apparently, Fatia called Cliff Richard a prick.
I don't. Who is that?
He is a singer. He's about 200 years old, but he looks like he's been replaced with plastic.
Mm,
I
delicious.
don't know how else to describe this guy. He's older than dirt, and he looks like a Ken doll.
Oh my gosh.
And then, yeah, just Alex barely moved, which is one
Pretty
hilarious and
impressive.
two really not surprising. And then we have Greg and Alex having a little cuddle, and
Yeah,
Alex
what
struggling
that
to keep himself
was.
together.
I'm afraid there's just two parts of the final to go with five mighty competitors. But thankfully, when it does end, still have each other, my sweet, sweet friend. And that was something that we have been on the lookout for a long
Yes.
time because it was teased in like the Channel 4 like moving pictures thing
Yeah.
where like all the boxes came together and we were like, "Huh? What? How? Why is Alex sitting? What's happening?
Yeah.
What is going on?" And we like didn't find out until this episode and we were, "Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh." So happy.
And yeah, like I loved it because what we had thought when that bump first aired was that it was going to be in direct response to someone like making Alex sad because he does look like he's been threatened or someone said something horrible and he needs to be reassured. And it turns out that look on his face is because he's basically just corpsing and not hiding it very well.
And it's also a rare like Greg at Alex come here moment
Yeah,
because usually it's, the other way around.
which
The needy assistant being like, please pay attention to me.
which is funny
So,
because that's literally what last week's episode was about.
yeah.
And then
So, yeah, that was cute.
Greg has defeated Fatia with gravel.
I'll just go up somebody's driveway.
Get away from you, you crazy woman.
So funny.
So Fatia got 1 point, Matt got 2, Jason got 3, and Alex asks, "Are you happy with that, Jason?"
Fuck no.
And then Rosie gets 4, and Stevie gets 5. Fantastic task. I love it. I love any task that makes the cast furious. And this one did that really well. And now we get the fast food task, which very simple. I can't get the full text for it because the wiki hasn't been properly filled out yet. Oh well. But basically, provide the best drive-through experience. And this was a fairly long task, but it wasn't necessarily a convoluted one because there was just a lot of information that needed to be contained or conveyed, and it was what accuracy, speed, and what was the third one?
Pricing, accurate. Oh no, accurate pricing, good customer service.
I don't know. I can't remember. Basically, there were 3 points, and for one team, all 3 of those points were a nightmare. But I wrote down some of what I spotted on the menu.
Oh, I screenshotted all of them. So let me tell you what they were.
Well, I just wrote down the
Mains.
ones that I enjoyed.
Okay, mains. Number 1, warm bread sandwich. Butter on the outside, 5 pounds. Triangle, pentagon, or circle. 1 pound 3 pence, 1 pound 5 pence, 1 pound 1. Burnt toast, 250. Toast soldiers, 740. Can you tell me what are soldiers? Because we don't have those in America.
So you soft boil an egg, and you put it in that little egg cup, and then you take off the top, and then you have toast that's just cut into strips for dipping in the egg.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know why we
Okay.
don't do it here.
Because we are
It's just kind of a
stupid.
more tactile way to eat your toast and eggs.
Okay. I like that. That's cool. Toast that actually looks like soldiers.
I love that
10
one.
pound 4 pence. Steamed bread, 3.90. So those are the mains. The sides are 10 ice cubes in a tower, 150.
That reminds me of a
small
Black Books gag, which I
A
don't know if
what?
you've ever seen this show, Black Books. So it's an old one. Unfortunately, it's a Graham Linehan one, but the fact that it stars Dylan Moran, Bill Bailey, and shit, I can't remember her name. Who the fuck played Fran? It's Tamsin Gregg. And they it's set in a bookshop where the owner does not want to sell books. He does not want to have customers, um, and his coworker is Bill Bailey. Like,
Oh.
Bill Bailey's not really playing a character. He's just Bill Bailey, which, I mean, a lot of these sitcoms are like that. And on
Mm-hmm.
one of them, they decide that in order to make more money, they need to become a restaurant. And
Hmm.
they're working out of Bernard's disgusting kitchen, which at one point he's trying to figure out what to make. He just takes all the knobs off of his oven and throws them into soup while screaming at Manny to make a tower of soup because in fancy restaurants everything is served in a tower. And the soup is just tomato soup. And eventually Manny turns around with a plate of congealed tomato soup and it's like all wobbly and slightly like off and it's just not good enough and Bernard throws it across the room.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love this show. It's one of my favorite shows. So, yeah, when
Wild.
there was a tower of ice cubes, it's like that's a fucking Dylan Moran joke right there.
Right. So, yeah, so we've got 10 ice cubes in a tower. We've got a small flower castle with a moat for 99p. We've got homemade confetti for 120. And then for drinks, we have we have small, medium, and drizzle.
I love
Small is
that.
250, medium is 350, drizzle is 99. So you can have still milk, dirty water, chewy milk, or fizzy milk.
Like, of all of those, like chewy milk is probably cheese. Fizzy milk, that implies that you're putting carbon dioxide into it, which instantly makes the milk go sour.
I mean, my family lore drop here, because I never talk about my brother, but I have a brother. Little known fact. We talk like twice a year on each other's birthdays, and that's pretty much it. But when we were kids, his favorite drink was what he called milk and soda. And he was very particular about it was half and half milk and soda. And it was usually like Diet Pepsi, I think, because that's usually what my dad had in the fridge. Um, but it was milk and soda, and if you put the soda in first, he refused to drink. It couldn't be soda and milk. It had to be. And I tried it like once just to be like, what is the hype about this? And it was disgusting.
Oh, gross.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't understand why he likes this. But then you kind of think about it and like do you can do like root beer floats type of thing. Like that's dairy and soda in a way. So like I kind of understood it, but I was also like, no, like I don't really like soda. I like root beer. That's the only kind of soda I really like. If I have to drink soda, it's gonna be root beer or it's gonna be something orange. Otherwise, I'm not. Like I'll chug skim milk forever. And people will continue to yell at me. I'll just drink. I mean, not these days because I'm an adult and I have to buy my own milk and that's expensive.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he would just drink milk and soda. And so when they were like fizzy milk, I remember what that tastes like. No, thank you. And then Rosie just dumping the dirt in the water
Oh
was
God.
so funny. Dirty
When
water.
when
Okay,
I
and
was a
then
kid, well, you were talking about fizzy milk. When I was a kid, and this is gonna sound a lot like an Alex Horn story, but we were there was a period of time where my aunt lived with us because she had just broken her hip after falling off of one of my mother's untrained horses. And we lived in this mobile home up on a hill, just out in the middle of nowhere. It was my mom, my aunt, my two cousins, and then I believe it was me and two of my siblings at that point. Yeah, because there had been a divorce, and my dad's kids from his first marriage just kind of left the picture with him. So There was a night where my mother was, I don't know what she was doing, but there was a house full of kids, and my aunt was still bedridden at that point. So she was kind of having to take care of everything, and she said, I'll make some macaroni and cheese. Kids like macaroni and cheese, but we didn't have any in the house. But we did have like dry macaroni noodles, and I don't know what she did. It came out blue, and it just tasted sour. It was the most disgusting thing, and then once it cooled, it had all congealed into this big just thing of rubber. So when I saw chewy milk, that's what my mind thought of, was just really nasty cheese. To this day, I don't know why it turned blue. And it wasn't like that kind of blue that like sometimes like mozzarella will get if it's not good mozzarella. It was
Mm-hmm.
blue. To this day, I don't know what she tried to feed us. No one ate it. No surprise.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Disgusting
Oh,
milk and
thank
cheese
you.
stories.
Yeah. So the last thing that I screenshot was the instructions on the till.
Yes.
So, the instructions say, note, this till works in pence. Do not use decimal points. So before I read what else is on, can we just shout out Jason for like running a till with money he doesn't normally handle? 'Cause
So,
holy shit.
I've got a lot to say about Jason. I've also got a lot to say about the till. Because I
Okay, so
worked.
let me
Okay.
okay, so let me there's 6 steps to the till. Type price,
Hmm.
press for drink slash main slash side, etc. Press confirm, input cash amount given, press cash drawer, give change.
Yeah. So I.
I've never worked a till, so
Um.
I would
So
have been baffled by
so here's
this.
some deep lore. I did once work at a Burger King. I was fired within the first fortnight, which is probably not a surprise to anybody who knows me. But like, yeah, I've used a fast food till, and just that, barely 2 weeks that I worked there, that's how it works. And it doesn't matter that this is in British pounds, because what it means is that if it's, $7.50 or £7.50, you just type in 7.50, because that's 750 pence. So
Hmm.
you put in the price, and then you tell it basically what inventory you're doing, and then there's just a series of key presses, and it will tally it all for you, and it will tell you how much money you need, and then you put in how much money they give you, and then it tells you how much money to give back. Like, it does the whole thing for you. So
Hmm.
Matt having a complete meltdown, which we'll also get to, like,
Well, to be fair to him, would you really trust that Alex slash the team would have input the correct amount of money into those predetermined
well,
buttons?
because those buttons don't do anything with the price. The buttons are for inventory.
Oh, okay. So I guess that didn't really matter
Yeah.
because they weren't meant to keep track of
Because, yeah,
inventory.
like, you put in the price, and then you put in, whether it's a side, a main, a snack, a drink, or whatever, and it will know that, okay, well, this price corresponds with this side. And so it like it doesn't really need to know that it's, exactly this. It just knows that we've sold this many sides at this price point. And so that makes inventory later easier, but that's just how the till works. But
Hmm.
also, I put down that this is one where it seems like it is intentionally unfair. Like, the team of three should theoretically have an easier time because there's 3 stations. And then we watch it play out.
I mean, the way that Alex was like, "Oh, I can't believe we're about to see this team of three absolutely crush the team of two." Like,
Yeah.
very clearly, that is not what's about to
Well, I mean,
happen.
as soon as Fatia asked Matt, can you count? And the way
And he's
Matt
like,
responded to that,
yeah,
like, someone in the chat suggested that he might be
right.
dyscalculic, which I relate to that. I'm horrible. I can't do numbers. As we saw recently when I put completely the wrong time in because I just could not read the times the way YouTube presents them. And so we streamed at a very different time to what it said it would. But like, yeah, that was a panic response to me. That he was asked to do a thing, and like his brain never considered that he was allowed to say no because Rosie
Mm-hmm.
had already said I'll do food, so he had felt backed into it properly, probably. And he even
Mm.
said on the podcast that he was doing it all on his phone. And it's like, well, that's what the register is for. And basically, I get the feeling that Fatia and Jason were the only ones who have actually ever worked fast food.
Yeah.
And yeah, like,
Oh, also, it's fast service, accurate pricing, great food.
there we go. Okay. I knew it was something like that. But, like, before we even get into it, what's a pentagon? And then Fatia was apparently the only person on that team who had heard of the Pentagon. But it did seem like initially
Also,
Matt.
did you clock that Rosie drew a pentagon?
Yes.
For
Which,
fuck's sake.
I mean, I can kind of get that if you've never learned what a pentagon is. Which
But
that.
how do you not how do you go into school, primary school, I guess, and not learn basic shit like pent you know is 5. Like Rosie, please tell me you know that pent means
Well,
5.
especially
Like
because I don't know if this is the case now, but like a certain amount of Latin, at least at one point, was part of the national curriculum.
yeah.
But also, what they could have just done, it didn't say that it had. I forget the word for it, but you know the one where all the sides and angles are the same. It didn't say that it had to be that kind of pentagon. If you cut off a corner, it's still 5 sides.
That's true. All you need is 5 sides.
And then we ha- and then we have a line at Fatia, "Be nice to everyone who comes." And then like the first thing she says through the radio is, "Shut up, I'm with a customer." And what I wrote down for this is, I don't know if you'll get this reference, and maybe one viewer will, but JV were an extremely rural Burgerville run by one of those couples that's just a little too friendly. Whereas the team of 3 were the 3 a.m. shift at a Jack in the Box in a rough part of town.
Yup. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, JV Martzukas was like your southern cooking hometown
So up here
quirky
we have
couple.
Burgerville, and the you're probably too far south to know what this is. It's basically our In and Out.
Burgerville?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
have
it's
Burgerville.
basically our internet or In and Out, except it's got charm and it doesn't have the subliminal Bible bashing messaging.
Hmm.
Like, it's pretty mid. People from here are supposed to worship it the way people in California are supposed to worship In and Out. I mean, it's all right. But yeah, it's just one of those really wholesome local chains that would absolutely behave like that in certain areas of the state.
Hmm. Yep.
But yeah, basically JV just fucking got onto it. They had a rough patch at the beginning. And it didn't help that Alex kept changing his order and just Stevie just instantly having a breakdown. But even while she was struggling, she was
Hmm.
doing something. And as we have
Yeah.
discussed to death, doing something is what wins tasks.
Yeah. I mean, she very quickly was like, I'm gonna have a breakdown.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous for her because I really wanted them to do surprised at how well they did. Like Jason, I don't want to say that Jason carried it, but like because
He
Stevie did do
saved
a
it.
lot of work,
He
but
saved it.
Jason was fucking on top of
Yes.
it. Like he was running between both stations and doing all of it, and also being like a great host at the same time. Like holy shit. But also like so we get another Andy C cameo,
Andy.
which we love him, and we get another member of the crew. I don't know if we know
I
that
don't
person's
know
name.
her name either, but she's been in a couple of tasks this season, this
Yeah,
series, I think.
yeah.
But yeah,
So
I love
maybe I'll ask the Andys like
what's her
about
name, and are we
who
going to
that
see
is.
more
Maybe
of her?
yeah. But
But
we'll get her on the pod.
yes, yes. But yeah, I loved how Jason just decides, okay, the way that we fix this is to just slow down, just start bullshitting with them, tell them
It
the
was so
local,
smart.
yeah, tell them the story of this little local restaurant. And what I loved was that Stevie picked up on that and started doing the same thing. She was repeating the exact order to everyone. She was talking slowly, and she was just slowing things down so that they didn't really clock, I guess, how long they'd been waiting. And it was
Yeah.
perfect. And yeah, it was just pure local restaurant chain energy. Like,
Yeah. It was really good. It was really impressive,
it was, yeah.
honestly.
Like, I did not expect them to do this task well at all. I expected this to be a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
And instead, like, I won't say that it turned into a big nothing because it was very entertaining to watch, especially watching Jason juggle two different
Yeah.
stations while Stevie, she made a few mistakes, but, like, it went really well for them.
Yeah.
And then,
And every time she did make a mistake, she was like, "I'm so sorry. I'll
yeah,
be right back." And then, she'd go and like even I think and I don't think this was on the printed menus that we saw, but Alex was like, "Oh, I asked for like extra gluten."
yeah,
And she was like, "Oh, I'll be right back." And she cut a flag for the castle.
yeah, it looked like it was out of
That
bread crust.
yeah, she had cut out a little flag out of bread and put it into the middle of the flower castle. Like that, I didn't really catch the first time like why she did that, and then the second time I watched it, I was it's a little flag for like the top of the
Yeah,
castle.
it was
Like that's
brilliant.
really smart. That's really smart. Yeah, I was
And
really impressed with those two. And then the fucking team of three was just a hot fucking mess.
well, first, I've got a couple of notes. Greg called it classy as fuck. Or, no, he called the show classy as fuck.
The
That's what it
show,
was.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, yeah,
Yeah.
Alex doesn't know how to cry, which Greg had just accused him of crying every night when he wets the bed.
But also, I feel like I've heard somewhere, maybe in an interview that Alex has done or something, that like he actually like really doesn't cry
Yeah,
in real
no,
life.
like it's pretty much a thing. David Mitchell has also talked about this. I think it was in one of his books about how he doesn't think he's cried since he was about 12, but he also acknowledges that if he could, it would probably fix him. And it's
Yeah.
like that's one of the most relatable things this man has ever said. And then yeah, like we get into the team of 3 and Fatia was the only one who knew what she was doing. And like
Weirdly.
yeah, cuz I think Ed pointed this out in his that yeah, we had Jason or not Jason, Matt scrambling around trying to get everything ready for himself, which we just realized was, pointless because he still didn't know what he was doing. And Fatia and Rosie were arguing over what the fuck a pentagon is. And then the first thing we hear from Fatia is shut up over the radio. But yeah, like Matt went totally silent. He just froze. No acknowledgement to Alex. Just, no one moment here. And immediately the line backs up because Matt can't count. Rosie can't burn
Also,
toast.
did not clock the giant sign at the front of the Taskmaster house that said pick up heat.
Yes. Matt was just he brought the task down pretty much single-handedly. Rosie didn't know what the fuck she was doing, but Matt's the reason why they got instantly backed up and had to rush to find a scooter or something. I would love to know more backstory to that. Like,
Yeah.
what was the scooter a pre-thought out contingency? Or
I don't think it was because they said they weren't, because they said that, I forget where I heard this. Was it in the episode or was
yeah.
it in an outtake? But they were like, we definitely didn't plan to do that. So I think they probably just had to run in the shed and find a scooter
Fuck,
and just be like,
find some wheels.
here you go.
And then we have a quote from Rosie that's just, what is a moat?
See, there was a guy I met in college who told me he didn't know what a dragon was, and I was like, fully did not believe him. And he kept insisting to me he didn't know because I was talking about, and I'm like,
I've lost you entirely there. I don't know what this audio's doing. It's funny because we
I am begging you to pick up my fucking voice. You goddamn son of a bitch.
well, it's funny because we do voice chats off camera fairly regularly. This only
I don't know what's
happens when we're
happening.
live.
Are you not picking me up at all?
Yeah, you just cut out completely.
It's like, this boring ass story. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Okay, never mind.
But like
Never mind.
But like Fatia was just completely the shift manager. She was barking
Yeah.
at people, telling them what to do, telling them how much they sucked. And yeah, it was just 3 a.m. at Jack in the Box energy. Which, if you've never been to a Jack in the Box at 3 a.m., and if you're not from the States, their entire model is that they don't make it until you order it. And you will be sat in that drive-thru line for a half hour waiting for your meal. And you go there knowing this. It is not a surprise that they take for fucking ever. Like, it's a good model. I like that they do that. And they've they've been having these for a while. That's what the munchie meals are supposed to be doing for them to kind of offset that time. Because, like, oh, here's something that got made accidentally. Or we have all of this extra shit that, nobody picked up, so just cobble it all together and call it a meal.
Yeah.
And they used to be a lot better. They're really boring now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just what was it? Andy that ordered the burnt toast and then said, "Fuck this."
Yeah, he fucks right off.
He did.
He was like, I don't fucking have time to wait around.
I mean, I wouldn't wait that long for some burnt toast either. That took, what was it, 16
16 minutes?
to
Incredible.
burn toast. I've burnt toast in 30 seconds. It's not hard.
Skill issue.
Total skill issue. And that was another thing that JV did really well, was they recognized, we're making fast food. This shit's all prepared in advance.
Yeah.
Like, figure out what they're likely to order and start making it in advance. And that really helped them.
That was really smart.
And then Greg called Matt a stoner, which, I mean, yeah, that definitely fits into their energy. Because Matt said that he was using his phone to tot it all up, which is funny because he'd also taken the screenshots. So he must have been going back and forth between the screenshots and the calculator.
Yep.
Which...
Yep. Like, I get where he was coming from, but also, like, in the heat of the moment, that would have been a nightmare.
But, like, the way Jason was doing it was exactly how it needed to be done, because he was, saying each item out loud, and then I think he was also saying the price, even though that didn't matter because he was telling it to himself.
Yeah.
And he did get the price wrong a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't matter, where Matt seemed to think that this whole thing was going to hinge on accurate prices.
Yeah.
And that's
Which
what fucked
again,
them.
I get where he was coming from, but like there's no really way to predict whether that's gonna be what they actually
Yeah,
are
because, I mean,
going
he's
off of or
definitely a
not.
fan of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely came on here all try hard energy. I don't care what he said on the podcast. Like, everyone from Series 3, there was no question that Matt was winning this. He
Mm-hmm.
ran away with it, which I think is why we didn't see too many league table scores.
Mm-hmm.
Because at a certain point, it's just like, cool, he's winning still. There was no competition.
Yeah.
So yeah, the wait times. The team of two had a 31-second wait time, which is frankly phenomenal for some of the absolute bullshit that they had on the menu. Team
Mm-hmm.
of two, 2 minutes 41. And
Awful,
yeah,
honestly.
especially considering one person fucked off.
Yeah.
So that gave the team of two 5 points, the team of three 3 points.
Yeah.
And I think Ed mentioned this, that Greg's getting soft.
Yeah. They did not deserve 3 points.
No.
They did not.
I'd have maybe given them 2. That was an
Yeah.
Omni shambles. Just
Mm-hmm.
not good.
No.
And then we've got this live task, and I feel like this is. We saw a couple of images that got, posted, stroke leaked. I don't know when they turned up, but we were analyzing a few images before the episode started. And Matt trying to bite his carrot was one of them. And then
Yeah.
Amanda and I were analyzing the one with the dog to try to find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Is this the bit where Greg calls Alex his faithful, featureless little sausage dog, or does that come later?
I can't remember. I've written it down. I know that.
I think it may have been right before they announced the final scores.
So yeah,
But I needed to make sure we brought.
yes. But get the most carrot in your bucket. You must hold your hands behind your back at all times. And this is what we
Which
were just
nobody
talking.
did.
Yeah, this is what we
Nobody
were
did
just
that.
talking about. Sometimes rules just get chucked out because, well, it didn't affect it didn't affect the task. Like
Yeah.
there's one in Series 4 where they have to get the water from one fishbowl to another without touching the fishbowls. And they had to narrate in the third person throughout, which Joe didn't
Hmm.
do. And
Right.
I think Hugh was really pissed off about that, but as Greg rightly pointed out, narrating it wasn't integral. And I think the way Greg had interpreted that was, if you are speaking, you must do it in the third person.
Yeah.
That's a concerned
There's
look.
either sand or breadcrumbs.
So yeah,
Lick it and find out.
never gonna get over Desiree eating sand.
So gross.
But yeah, so holding your hands behind your back, that just immediately tossed out because it didn't matter. No one was cheating
Hmm.
anyway, which that's what that kind of rule is supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And I mean, had Rosie adhered to that, she'd have fallen on her face.
Yeah.
And then
I think I think Amanda summed it up really well in the group chat. Yeah, Amanda said, it really did sum up the group as a whole. Jason not doing what anyone expected and using cleverly applied wild. Matt looks like the failingest boy that ever failed, but did alright, actually. Stevie came up with a good plan and executed it a bit chaotic. Rosie had no idea what was happening and tried to do things she wasn't allowed to do. We tried to make sense. Fatiha refused to debase herself, had to go,
yeah,
but it was too much and so remained an
yeah. I put down Jason bullies it into working,
Yeah.
which is basically what he did.
Yeah.
And then we had Stevie. Just probably this is what Alex had expected them to do, was that she was biting off pieces and spitting it into the bucket, which
Yeah.
Matt followed. And then we had Rosie, she dropped hers and wound up licking it off the floor. And this will be how the next pandemic starts. She was literally licking the floor. Like,
Yeah, she sure was.
I mean, there's that task in Series 10 with the watermelons, which, I mean, everyone said COVID came from Wuhan. I think COVID came from the watermelon task. And the next one's going to come from Rosie licking the floor. That was
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yep.
And what did I put? This will be how the. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just said that. Okay. But,
Yep.
so yeah, like, I mean, they all got it done. I didn't write it down, but I knew that I'd have it right here. Where Fatia, yeah, got 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie got 2. Jason got 3. Stevie got 4. And. Or Matt got 3. Stevie got 4. And Jason got 5. Just
Yep.
because, yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, this
And
is where we
then
get favorite featureless sausage dog.
faithful, featureless little sausage
Oh,
dog.
was it faithful? I heard favorite.
Yeah, it was faithful.
Okay. But let's talk about this total points upset.
Let's do it. Yeah, because this brought
This
me
shocked.
closer to what my original
It did.
lineup was gonna be, and I was very happy with. I think I just wanted to switch
Like,
around
but,
Matt with
yeah.
Jason or I forget. Yeah,
But,
but
I wasn't
like
expecting this
because
at all.
Stevie,
We all knew Matt was
I thought
winning.
Stevie would come in first at the very like in episode 1. I was predictions. I was like, Stevie's gonna come in first. She comes in second. Not bad.
Yeah.
And then I
Which
was
is
like,
hilarious because
Jason's
she
gonna
was in
come in
fourth for the whole
second.
thing.
Yeah. And I was like, Jason's gonna come in second. He came in third. And then I think I put Fatiha at the bottom. So I
Which she
really
did,
just needed
yeah.
to switch Matt and
But yeah, like,
Rosie.
this was a disaster for both Fatia and Rosie.
Yeah, she really went down. Rosie did.
Yeah,
Like,
because she was in second for nearly the whole thing. Which I
yeah.
still never sat down to do the maths because it's a lot of maths. And like
Yeah.
Matt, I don't know how to count. So, but like, we all knew Matt was going to win. That was a foregone conclusion. But like, I can't believe how much this one episode changed the entire scoreboard, which shows how close it was for everyone. Like, it's only Matt that was pulling ahead. And the fact that it had been solidly consistent for most of, if not the entire series. Because we've been saying for weeks that the scoreboard hasn't moved.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's in a totally different order.
Yeah, that was wild.
Like, and that is what it takes. Just one bad episode can absolutely fuck you. And the fact that it was a bad episode for both Fatia and Rosie is astonishing.
Mm-hmm. And if you remember Nick Ed's, and he gave a prediction numbers wise, his prediction was there will be 6 1s and 1 6, and he was correct.
He was correct.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. See, I never got into the numerology for obvious reasons.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't get my head around them. But, like, it's always been a branch of magic that has fascinated me. Probably because I don't know how it works. Like, I could do the card magic, I could do the coin magic, I did big props, I was really good at the patter, but the coins, or rather the numbers, just baffle me. And I know there's a way that it works, and I know that it's a very logical way, and it's tied to the way that hot reading works. Or, sorry, cold reading, it's totally different method. But it's tied to that in a way that I just don't understand.
Yeah. So yeah, his predictions came true. And so Ed had Matt on podcast, and Ed did bring up fan fiction.
Yes.
Again, because they obviously had to talk about the thought process behind the yogurt task. which I'm glad that we got more of because I mean, what the fuck?
Matt trying to act like that task wasn't filth.
Yeah. And then yeah, Ed was like, I mean, there's a certain, group of the fandom out there that like, I mean, you basically just like wrote the fan fiction for them so that they don't need to write it's on video.
He's not
Thank you.
wrong.
He's not wrong.
I mean, there have been
Um,
fics, but at the same time,
oh yeah.
he's not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. No. Yeah.
And
I
then we
mean,
get
just
Matt
insane.
snogging the trophy.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about this. A time-honored tradition of making out with the trophy, no
Yes.
matter what uh country your taskmaster is in. That's what you do with the trophy. Also, like, have we talked about Jeremy Wells making out with
With who?
Jeremy Wells? The
Yeah, I know that, but I didn't hear anything after Jeremy Wells.
have we talked about him making out with his own?
Oh, with his own trophy?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's because you haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah,
Spoilers.
I haven't.
But go watch the rest of New Zealand because it's like Jeremy, we always say, and I feel so bad, but like he's so boring, right? But like at the very end of the most recent series, the last like 3 seconds is just him making out with his trophy, and then it's like da na na, and I'm like, wait, where has this behavior been all this time? Come back! What are you doing? Jesus Christ! But Matt making out with the trophy, I mean, is
So many
like
contestants have done it.
go back and watch it because he really goes
Oh,
like he's
he
like
is
an
into it.
open mouth kissing, like making out with it while he's high-fiving the whole
So
cast.
sloppy.
And then at the very end he like goes up for breath, like his tongue is all the way out, like Jesus Christ. And then finally putting the cherry on top, wiping off his lips with the back of his hand and being, woo! And I'm like, my guy, this is how you do it. This is how you win Taskmaster, and this is how you celebrate doing it. Because holy shit, that
It's
tongue action.
it's such a weirdly horny show.
Understatement of the
Like,
century.
cause like I've been watching panel shows for fucking ever, and there's always an amount of homoeroticism. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just baked into the format at this point.
Yeah.
This one particular, this show, just it's like they forget they're on television sometimes.
Well, I think Matt definitely
Oh my, yeah.
forgot because, like,
Quite a few times he forgot he was on television.
yeah,
And then he had too much of himself on television.
yeah,
Which I know it's a joke that a lot of them were needlessly blurred. At the same
yeah.
time, sir.
Shorts.
So, I've got a few things that are vaguely related to this before we talk about the next cast. But I believe Series 20 will be the final series filmed at Pinewood.
Yeah.
Do we think they're going to do anything like to beyond the little animation that they've already posted on Instagram? But like on the show proper, do you think they're going to acknowledge the move to Television Center?
I mean, they might do.
They
I know
might.
that they at the episode 10 taping of series 20, which Amanda went to. I
Oh,
forget
that's
if anybody
right.
else
Yeah.
went to, but Amanda was saying that they did like a little speech about it at
Yeah, and
the end of the
Alex got
show.
choked up.
So, yeah. So I'm not sure, they might reference it. They might not. I don't know. We'll see,
Cuz
I
like
guess.
there's a lot of context here where it's just not really worth going into. But
Yeah.
like the long and short of it is, this isn't their first studio, but they have been at Pinewood for a long time. I think since like series 2006,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even earlier than that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like Pinewood has been their home for a long time, and Television Center has had some ups and downs, but it looks like that's where they're moving everything back to, which is good because like making people go out to Slough for a filming, like it's every time I hear people going out there, like the transport situation is needlessly complicated.
Right.
So
Yeah.
being right in the middle of London, where you can actually get to, like, I feel like that needed to happen a while ago. It's unfortunate
Mm-hmm.
that it's happening under the circumstances that it is, which
Yeah.
is, for those of you who don't know, Pinewood is going back to exclusively being a studio for film. And then this is another thing that's come up is that someone on Instagram suggested to Stevie that she and Jason go on Big Fat Quiz together.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of them know what this show is, but they both want to do it. And apparently Stevie's manager doesn't like this idea.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know why, because Big Fat Quiz is such a fucking event. And this team have already proven to be amazingly popular with panel show fans. I
Mm-hmm.
need them on the quiz. I need Jason being confronted with the fact that he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know any of the news that they're talking about. And
Yeah.
frankly, I don't think Stevie will either.
Yeah.
I needs it.
Yeah.
Please.
I need more of them together because
Avalon.
they were such a good team.
Let them go on the quiz together.
Do it.
It's one of the best moments of the year. And there's a reason why it's called the Big Fat Quiz, because it's enormous. It's a
Yeah.
deal. Okay, now let's get on to what we know about Series 20. So it's been filmed, as we just mentioned. Our friend Amanda has gone to the taping, and I think this is a testament to this show, like in general, like the fandom, the fact that we know that she went, and that we do have information from that taping, but none of it was really spoilery. Like
Mm-hmm.
people are so good, and to the
Yeah.
fact that I had been under the impression that the Series 20 cast had leaked after filming. Because I'm fairly certain someone gave me a cast list.
Yeah. I got a cast list
But it
a long
wasn't
time
but it
ago.
wasn't these five.
Oh, was it not?
Not the one that I got.
I think the one I got was these five, and I was like, yeah, I don't know any of
Cause I got the list that I got, one of the Demetrius was on it. I can't remember which one. And like that was the only name that I like vaguely knew, and I was like, huh, interesting. So when I saw Maisie Adam pop up, I was like, oh, that's a surprise. And then Reese Shearsmith. And that was the moment I realized I had been given a bad list.
Mm,
Because I would have absolutely remembered Reese Shearsmith.
yeah.
Because he is Steve Pemberton's comedy partner.
Okay.
And he also doesn't really do panel shows.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, getting Reese Shearsmith on this, I think signals a few things. One, it's not really seen as much of a panel show the way other ones are. And two, it has risen above being a panel show. That
Mm-hmm.
people who don't normally do these are coming on. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, like, if you thought Steve was insane, holy shit. Like, Reese is mad. Absolutely bonkers. He
Mm-hmm.
was the one who had. There were two. I mean, all of Legal Gentlemen was to a degree controversial, which was part of the point of League of Gentlemen. I
Mm-hmm.
would say that Reese had the most controversial character,
Mm-hmm.
which is a character called Papa Lazaru. And go ahead and Google that for me real quick, because I cannot tell you in words why this character is controversial.
Oh
Yes, so
boy.
he looks like he's in minstrel blackface. The thing is, he's not. He's a demon. That's just what he looks like. And he's kind of like in charge of this roaming circus that's just populated with people that are either, themselves demons or people who have been kidnapped by them. And what he does is he goes into town wearing the disguise of, someone who looks like Reese Shearsmith. So he puts makeup on over what appears to be, minstrel blackface. And, like, it's a very shocking character. And, like, there are people who fucking hate Papa Lazaru.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
yeah,
can see that. I can
this,
see how that would
yeah, it's something. But holy shit, like, it's one of his best characters. He has some of the
that's
most
wild.
recognizable lines. Whereas Steve Pemberton's most controversial character, I believe, I don't think it's unfair to say this, was Barbara, who I can't remember the language that was used, but it's an old enough show that transvestite would have been the more common vernacular. So basically, she's a trans woman. She's very out about the fact she's trans to the point that she just gives too much information. She forgets that when you're in your taxi driving someone around, you can't really talk about how you're starting to lose sensation in your balls.
I mean, not with that attitude.
But like
You can
people
do
really
whatever you want.
but like people really hate Barbara as well because yeah, like she's very in your face and she goes through her surgical transition throughout the course of the show. And again, like people fucking love her or hate her. I adore
Mm.
Barbara just because she gives no fucks. And the thing that I really love about her is that the locals of Royston Vasey, nobody gives any fucks either. That is Barbara. Like everyone acknowledges that she's Barbara. She's a woman. It doesn't matter whether she's pre or post op. That's just, how things are. And if I'm remembering this right, her surgeon cancels last minute. And this is like the big joke is that it's implied that her surgery is botched because the person who replaces it is a veterinarian who has a bloodline curse. Yeah, League of Gentlemen is it's psychological horror comedy. It's really good. So yeah, like that's kind of the big punchline. And it's not even about her being trans. It's about the situation that she's being subjected to being under the knife of Mr. Chinnery, who holy shit. I mean, this is a character that causes massive giraffe spunk at one point, just spraying all over a group of people. It's a show.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I haven't, unfortunately, really watched Psychoville or Inside Number 9, but they also did those together. And, like, they're on the same level. So, yeah, get
Should
ready.
be interesting.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. And then, I know I've heard of Phil Ellis. I can't think of where I've seen him. I know I've seen Sanjeev Bhaskar on a few of the other panel shows. And I don't know who Anya Magliano is. But
Yeah,
we've
I
got a
don't
few
know
months.
any of them. Yep. So, should
Maisie
be good.
Adam. Maisie Adam is fucking insane as well.
I did listen to Maisie's episode on Off Menu because I listened to all of Off Menu. And I
She
was like, oh, okay, she seems fun.
she's on QI a lot. I can't remember if she was on Last One Laughing. Basically, the most recognizable feature about her is that she has bad haircuts. And for a long time, it was completely shaved, except for the fringe and like some bits around her ears. And now it just looks like she let a 3-year-old do it. But like that's her whole thing. Bad haircuts, and I love it. She doesn't care. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Oh my god, these explosions. They can go away.
Yeah.
So it looks like um so it looks like one contestant is in their 20s, which is Anya. Maisie Adam is in her 30s. Phil Ellison is in his 40s. Reese is in his 50s. And Sanjeev is in his 60s. So that's
Cool.
funny that their ages even correspond with their order on the
Hmm.
lineup. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then we have
Hmm.
Alex in the portrait, which
That was
yeah,
amazing. I
the
can't believe it
American
took
Gothic portrait.
20 took 20 series for him to show up in a portrait. And um where is it? Queer Old Dad on Tumblr uh did an American Gothic of Greg and Alex before
Yeah, I think I
we got
remember
the
that one.
reveal of the picture. So that's we were like that meme
Yeah.
like pointing being like, "Oh, my friend did this first." I
Yes.
mean, not technically because the painting would have been commissioned beforehand, but we didn't know about it until now, so that's exciting. So go check out their art because it's
Yeah.
really good.
Love it, love it,
So,
love it, love it, love it.
yes. Now,
So,
we have had some requests to go back to the very beginning and do recaps of Taskmaster.
well, I think now that we're
Um,
streaming them, that's a lot more feasible.
well, yes, but it just so people know it might not happen because I'm still moving into this and we're both very tired.
Yes, there may be a small break in the schedule, and
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if
I'm also going to Poland on the
yes.
20th until
So,
August.
what we're probably going to do is take ourselves a couple weeks off so that we can get everything squared away.
Hmm.
Because like I think people in the chat know this. I have been not in a good place lately. Like my depression has been kicking my ass. Like bipolar, 0 out of 10. Don't recommend. And we've had some life events within the team. Nothing bad actually. A lot of good life events, I think. Maybe I won't say nothing bad, but mostly good life events. So we've had some restructuring in who's active on the team and who's doing what roles. So we need to take some time off to get everything just smoothed out and organized. And with the end of Series 19, this feels like a good place to do it. So we'll probably be back a couple weeks, maybe a month, but we've got some excellent things coming up. We have, well, we've got the Andes coming up.
Yep, we've got the Andes, we've got Jack Bernhardt, we've got Ben
That's,
Reynolds.
yeah. And then let
Yep.
me see. We have, this might fuck up. You might be black for a second. That's fine. Um, okay, and then the other one, we just haven't got a date, so we won't mention that just yet. But there's some cool stuff coming up. And we want to make sure that everything is going out as well as best as it could. I unfortunately didn't notice because I did last week's episode on like 3 hours of sleep after not sleeping all week. It was horrible. and I completely forgot to do the intros and outros and to fix the music, so I apologize for that. We need some sleep.
We sure do.
Yeah, so little bit of a break, but we're not going away for very long. We just need to get everyone back on the same page and get everyone rested because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work,
So much work.
but we will be back very shortly with some really good stuff on the horizon. So,
Thank you for your support.
thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out our Patreon where we have posts for you to submit questions for the Q&As. We do want to release these more wide to people on our social media, but we need to hammer out our social media strategy a bit better than what we've got now because it's hard, and we're learning. We're learning as we go.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway,
All
it's
right.
been a long time. I'm tired. You're probably tired. So,
Yep. Take care of yourselves.
bye.
Bye.